in case you missed the announcement during class, I made a small mistake. This video 2 needs to be changed to 3 for the word problems. And then video 3, this is going to be 2. So we're going to turn to the point slope formula Cornell notes for the week 9 video 2. So let's turn to the Cornell notes. It would be this one right here. It says week 9 video 3 at the top. This is video 2. All right, so I'll make an announcement during class. If you miss it, there it is. So we're looking at our point slope formula. The formula for point slope is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Then you would distribute and solve for y. Okay, so we're looking at the point slope formula when given a slope. So we'll use this formula and then labeling our points. And then the slope we'll substitute in and solve. So looking at number 1, they gave us a point, they gave us a slope. I'm going to label, this is x1, y1. My slope is the letter m equals 2. So I have, my formula is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So I'm going to substitute in y minus my y1, which is 1, is equal to my m, which is 2, x minus x1. So that's all I'm going to substitute in. The y1 goes to here. The slope is from here. And then the x1 goes there. Now I distribute the 2 because it's outside the parentheses and I solve for y. So I have y minus 1 is equal to 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is a minus 8. Add 1 to both sides. Y, the 1's cancel out, equals 2x minus 7. That right there is my answer. Y equals 2x minus 7. Looking at number 2, so just like before, label my points, x1, y1, the slope, so m is equal to 1/2. So I start with my equation, y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. We substitute in, just like I did before, y minus the y1 is 4 is equal to 1/2 times x minus x1, which is 2. So like before, the y, see, is going into this part of the equation. Then we have the slope is the letter m. And then I have the x1. That's the only parts of the equation that I changed. That y and the x stay in there. So I distribute. And then we solve the equation. 1/2 x. 1/2 times a negative 2 is minus 1. You add 4 to both sides. Y, the 4's cancel out, is equal to 1/2 x plus 3. That's a y. So y equals 1/2 x plus 3. All right, you'll need to complete these for practice, but let's turn to the back. Because if you look, sometimes you're not always given the slope. Sometimes they just give you 2 points. Well, if you're given 2 points, you can still solve using the slope formula. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then use the point slope formula. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. It seems like a lot, but we'll use our calculator. So looking at number 7, label your points. x1, y1, x2, y2. Just write them in the order that I just did. The first point is x1, y1. The second point is x2, y2. So now substitute into your slope formula. So m is equal to y2 is negative 1 minus y1, which is 7. divided by x2, which is 1, minus x1, which is negative 3. From there, we can type it into the calculator. So as a fraction, I'm going to type in negative 1 minus 7 over 1 minus negative 3 and hit enter. So now my slope, m, is equal to negative 2. So now I have a slope, I have my x1, y1, and I'm going to substitute it into my point slope formula, just like we practiced on the front. So y minus y1, which is 7, m is negative 2, x minus x1 is negative 3. Minus a negative turns into a plus. I'm going to distribute that negative 2, and then we'll solve. So we have y minus 7 is equal to negative 2x minus 6. Add the 7. You're left with y equals negative 2x plus 1. Y equals negative 2x plus 1. So if we look at number 8, one more example, x1, y1, x2, y2. First you have to solve for the slope. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then you can type that into the calculator to solve. Negative 4 minus negative 7, just like it's written. 3 minus negative 6. My slope in the simplified is 1/3. So then we're going to solve y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Substitute in y minus y1, which is negative 7, is equal to 1/3 times x minus x1, which is negative 6. And we're going to solve. Minus a negative, to simplify it, turns into a plus. Distribute the 1/3. Minus a negative 7, that's a plus, so we have y plus 7 is equal to 1/3 x. 1/3 times 6 is plus 2. Then I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Y is equal to 1/3 x minus 5. And there's your answer. So be sure to practice and then continue on and do the extra practice to make sure you understand it before you turn back and do the word problems. Okay? So these days should be switched. All right? This should be your Wednesday. This should be the Thursday. Sorry.